picture. That's Officer Brian Fitzgerald. He's the one who, along with his partner, let's see if I can remember his name off the top of my head because he didn't give me his card, and neither did Officer Brian Fitzgerald. I read his name today when I saw him. He shouldn't have been there today. Of course, I couldn't remember the names of the officers. And, well, with as many officers as I've had to deal with, that should be understandable. Kind of like with the number of Bobs I've had to deal with, and the number of Mollys and Missies in this situation. Holy fuck, I'm up to my ass and about every fucking name there is. And then, of course, I might get the first name right. I'll get the last name wrong. Sometimes I say Mandy Singer when I mean Mandy Hughes. Sometimes I say Mandy Hughes when I mean Mandy Singer. It's tough. If there was just one Mandy in one situation, it'd be a lot different. But a lot of my witnesses are friends with my predators, which makes it complicated. Once they realize that, it becomes even more complicated. And by that point, they've already opened their mouth and fucking told the truth, and now they don't want to piss off their dealer. I've been on the streets a lot of years and saving lives a lot of years. You guys get to hear my anger and my disappointment. Of course I'm angry, I'm scared. Not listening to me resulted in Waylon Lolatai hurting a lot more people. Not listening to me resulted in multiple assaults in multiple jails, multiple jurisdictions. This is what happens when you tell on a bad cop. This is what happens when they decide to charge you with felony assault against a police officer because you were assaulted by cops for trying to turn in evidence. Nobody cares about the situation that resulted in me being in an unsafe situation. There's a reason I hadn't gone to Boulder in over a year by the time Natalie had died. Now, don't get me wrong, I had hopped in for a couple of quick rescues. There were people that I cared about who asked for my help, like OSHA. But you guys sell this false narrative. There's all this stuff on these YouTube channels that people still harm me over. There's a lot of people that still watch that shit, and there's a lot of people that do actually recognize me. There's a lot of people in the jails and the prisons who treated me horribly because they recognized me. There's also some of them that recognized what I was doing, and they did, in fact, speak up for my rights. More than one inmate got in trouble for trying to tell on the guards for what they'd done with my paperwork. When you tell on the guards, they're not legally allowed to read your paperwork, but they do it anyway, and then they come back and retaliate. All the guards take part in it, and then they get angry when you tell on them. And they're mean, and they're cruel, and they're horrible. And they use all the same excuses. It's a fucking kangaroo court. They come up to your cell after charging you with shit that was unnecessary, after they fucking assault you and antagonize you and deny you your right to things, basic things. Like enough fucking blankets. Or, of course, they wanted to claim that I was having my rights taken away because I was suicidal. But I wasn't suicidal. I wasn't trying to kill myself. And they took everything away from me to harm me. No, I'm not going to fall for your bullshit. These officers in Tillamook are committing the same felonies. The hospital here in Tillamook committed the same felonies. No, these officers do not get to take me to a hospital or they get to lie to the hospital. I need a friend or family member to go to the hospital with me and explain what's going on if the hospital decides to treat me like that. But I'm a homeless, disabled male. I'm going to be treated like I'm on fucking heroin no matter what. Fuck your goddamn country. It ain't mine. A state of war has existed between the homeless, the poor, and the empire of the United States for the entirety of my life. And there is no end in sight because the poor are too cowardly to fight back. They are too cowardly to stick up for their neighbor. That is nobody's fault but their own. This is exactly how Nazis took over. They blame the Jews, you blame the homeless. They blame the blacks, you blame the homeless. By the way, they also blame the homeless, and you blame the homeless. Meanwhile, the most disgusting people I've had to deal with through all of this are the religious ones. The one who believe that their religion gives them a right to pass judgment on me and threaten to kill me and to harm myself and my family. Those religious people are the ones who say, oh, ignore all of the crimes against you and give it to God. If you let people do whatever they want to you whenever they want, you'll get to go to the kingdom of fuck you. You can take your imaginary goddamn sky man and fuck off. God bless America. There's a lady I'm supposed to meet with on Monday. There's also a place that's supposed to call me back on Monday. I don't remember the name of the place because I have to make too many fucking calls. Meanwhile, I can barely hear what the fuck they're saying. Thank goodness there's a call log in my telephone that is saved. That is evidence. I had those in all of my phones. But did you know that if you make a 911 phone call from a phone that's no longer in service, it erases your fucking call log? It erases the evidence of all of the calls that you made and all of the people that you called. It erases your fucking evidence. Because you made a fucking 911 call, god damn it. Then if you try to turn in cops and they're able to lock you up for longer than 30 days, they take away your disability money and they take away your Medicare, and you have to have a fucking place to live. A place to receive fucking mail in order to get it back. Fuck this goddamn country and fuck Tillamook. This place is disgusting. The people are disgusting. Sure, they're nice, but where are the good people? That's what I'm looking for. The good people. Is Mike McKinster going to speak up about any of the things that I did prior to me having a fucking meltdown because nobody gave a shit about the abuse? Just because you don't look at the videos doesn't mean that they're not fucking recorded. I've got multiple instances here in this town where violence was being, of course, in that very moment, a very real thing. There was a woman who was being choked on the property of one of the fucking churches. She was screaming for help. Guess who was recording? Me. And I did yell, just like I did with Jamie. Type in the word Jamie again. 2 words, Jamie again, on my channel. And watch that video. Watch in the first 5 minutes. You goddamn right I'm willing to die for my rights and for the rights of other disabled and homeless people. You goddamn right I am. Using your Skyman Your schizophrenic delusion of a imaginary man in the sky as an excuse to threaten to kill me and my family is wrong. Using your tarot cards as an excuse to threaten to kill me and my family is wrong. Your belief that the Illuminati had something to do with your birth. This is all crazy shit that I've had to deal with out of these people who are going to help me. Some help they ended up being, huh? I did get a free coffee today. Now let's get back to Brian Fitzgerald. He should have given me his card or his name. He outright refused. I asked more than once. He outright refused. At least today I got his name. You got to hear the other officer. You could tell that I couldn't remember his name, and he knew it. He wanted me to dig through my cards to find his name. Refused to give me his card or his name, along with Brian Fitzgerald. Now that officer, I've said his name several times today. I just can't remember it at the moment. It's not an easy one to remember. I record in public because I am an at-risk adult, and it is my right to protect myself in doing so. It is my right because I am an at-risk adult, because I am so prone to abuse, because I am so prone to people taking advantage of me, to people lying to me, people in a position of power that I am forced to trust, who gain dominion over me through abuse of their power and abuse of keywords. They changed the word torture over to physical compliance, and it's different. They lied to me over and over. When I was told that I was being taken somewhere safe in January of 2018, after Natalie was killed, but before they found Lopez, those officers, I explained to them that I just needed a place to sit down with a keyboard so that I could try to remember my codes to give to the officers in Natalie Bollinger's case. But what did the Boulder Police Department do instead? The same thing that TFCC lady wanted to do at the hospital the day I was assaulted. She didn't care about the abuse that I was enduring. What she cared about is trying to get me to say something she could construe as I'm trying to kill myself. Obviously, that was not the case. And when I wouldn't do it, that's when the officer got, or not the officer, but the doctor got irate. That's it, that's enough, get out of here! And then he started pushing and prodding and poking, knowing that I have a back injury, knowing that it is documented. And I can't remember that lady from TFCC's name either. I want to say it's Teresa, but I'm not sure about that. I was in a heightened state of stress, and I was scared shitless, especially after Mike McKinster left. When he left, I had to talk to that lady alone. If he had stuck around, he could have tried to explain it, but he had to go back to work. That is not my fault. And the things that transpired as soon as he left, it became a very, very hostile environment. Somebody typed, "Among Us imposter in real life, OMG." Typed hi. I don't know who this person is. Who are you? Are you here to troll me, or are you here to actually help? Are you actually going to speak out? Now with Mike McKinster, you can ask all of those people. This person typed, "I'm new here." Well, I don't trust anybody without a real name, but thank you for coming. My name is Sean Schwartz, and if you're new here, I recommend typing up the name Natalie Bollinger. If you're here because you already looked up the thing with Natalie Bollinger, please type so on the bottom so that I can show that yes, most of the people who come here from a Natalie Bollinger show, or most of the people who show up here are from a Natalie Bollinger show they watched. This person typed, I love speaking and speaking for those in need. Well, I highly recommend looking up the name Natalie Bollinger first, and also understand that I definitely give out people's phone numbers when they scam me. So I'm a risky person to help now. It didn't used to be that way, but people lying to me, misrepresenting the situation, not coming forward, resulting in a mass quantity of harm against me, I don't trust anyone. All right. This is not okay. Definitely not okay. He was wanting to buy heroin is what he typed. So what do we do with these guys? Hide user on this channel. Now obviously I got a screenshot of it. And now I have a screenshot of the fact that that shit's been deleted. My channel is an autocratic dictatorship. I'm not allowed to show evidence in court. I'm not allowed to speak up in court. I'm not allowed to turn in my predators. I'm not allowed to turn in my abusers. And I am forced to go to my abusers to turn them into themselves. This is not a happening thing. Whether it be in Tillamook, Oregon, Longmont, Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, Haxton, Colorado, Pueblo, Colorado, Arapahoe County, Colorado, Englewood, Colorado, Chapel, Nebraska, Garden County, Nebraska, Scottsbluff County, Nebraska, Lincoln Correctional Center, Diagnostic and Evaluation Center. Fun, right? Multiple assaults in multiple locations, all because I tried to turn in officers and they utilized other law enforcement officers and agencies to commit felonies against me. Enticing another officer to cover for your crimes is pretty easy. Oh, we're all in this together. You know it. You shouldn't lose your job over some fucking retarded homeless guy. Man, I feel bad for you. You know, anybody could make that mistake. Yeah, except that you got people killed making those mistakes. These officers here in Tillamook, Oregon may have gotten as many as 4 people killed since I've been here that I am aware of. These people are still missing. Meanwhile, I don't have a place where I can sit down in peace and fucking quiet and work on this. I don't have a place where I can call these agencies in peace and quiet. I can barely function, and then I'm forced into public to do these things. If I hadn't been forced to do these things in public because of things I was told to do, that I tried over and over, did not work because I had to do it alone. How many people said that they were going to help me turn this in? Kayla Trujillo claimed on many occasions she was gonna, but when it came down to time to actually do it, she always backed out. Every fucking time. She didn't want to tell the truth because she knew she'd fucked up. She didn't want people to know that she was a fucking drug dealer. Well, now everybody knows she is a drug dealer. Whether they believe it or not, I don't give a shit. Because she admits to it on this fucking channel, stupid. If I pull up all the evidence for you and I send it to you, are you going to fucking look at it? Are you going to listen to it? Are you going to fucking share the evidence? Or are you going to tell me you don't know how to speak up? You don't know how to use a telephone? You don't know how to turn in a police report? You don't know how to tell the truth? All right. Miss Peaches, after About 6 months of doing absolutely nothing. I said, have you written a report yet? Because she was gonna. She said, no, I haven't. I don't even know where to get started. There's so much. I'm like, well, you can start off there by saying there's so much that it's hard to know where to get started. But she didn't. She did at least admit to the situation with Todd Ryan Case and Chloe Pachovis and rescuing her from Todd Ryan Case, who was supposed to be helping me, but he was so fucked up on ketamine. Then, of course, hospitals repeatedly denying me access to my own records. Hospitals repeatedly, instead of making a diagnosis and looking into it, they just wrote down what the cops I was trying to turn in told them. It was not appropriate for Jen Beebe to send me on suicide watch with the 2 officers that I needed to turn in most. The 2 officers who had most recently committed felonies. Now this fucking rookie bitch, he's learning nasty tricks of how to harm innocent people from bad cops. All this results in is more bad cops. Take a look at, well, Sheriff Mike Jepson. Now here's how fucked up and tied in the family relation is. Jim Haith was the former sheriff of Chapel, Nebraska. He was gypping a lot of people out of their money, and he was dating Polly Olson. They ripped a lot of people off out of their money. They, together. Jim Haith took the rap. Polly Olson also happens to be the only reason that I was able to get an ID, so that I could get a job. She lied on court documents so that I could do that. She claimed that she had known me for 10 years or longer, which she hadn't. But she worked at the courthouse and she could get away with it. I went to school with her kids. There was Ashley Olson and, God, what was her younger sister's name? Shit, I just remember there was 2 of them. Matter of fact, I had drawn a picture of Ashley Olson for Polly when I was in high school. I also drew a picture for Ken Fornander of his daughter Allison when I was in high school. That's what I was known for, as being an artist. Nobody gave a shit about me other than that. They just called me a weirdo or N-word lover. But when they wanted a picture drawn, I was the guy they came to. Hey man, why don't you go to college to become an artist? I'm already an artist. Have you seen my portraits? They're not bad. The one that I drew of Samuel L. Jackson is actually pretty badass. With him as Nick Fury. That was a gift to Natalie Bollinger for saving my life. Did you know that? That picture was my profile picture for a while. I was pretty proud of that picture of Samuel L. Jackson. That was before Officer Waylon Lolotide decided to assault me. And because they were able to prevent me from getting access to the body cameras, to prevent me from showing the public what was really going on, what had really happened, and how many officers had actually taken part. Instead, they get to pretend that I'm schizophrenic, to cut me off from turning them in, to press false charges, and then deny me the right to turn in those officers until those charges were dropped. That is how easy it is. Well, I'm told I have to be patient about turning in these officers, and I have to call 400 different numbers to get zero fucking help. These officers can lie just once and have me put in jail instantly. With me recording all the fucking time, they have to be scared of doing that. This shit is not fucking okay. Now, Polly Olson used to date Jim Haith. Jim Hayes had a deputy working for him by the name of Mike Jepson. Mike Jepson married Jim Hayes' daughter, and they have a daughter together. Mike Jepson admitted that he was a bad cop when he worked for Jim Hayes. Brandon Jepson, what did he have to say about it? He says a bad sheriff makes every cop under him a bad apple. And my brother Mike Jepson is an example of that. Well, now that Mike Jepson is a sheriff, maybe he's an upright and upstanding individual, and maybe he's not. Maybe he still follows after Jim Hayes. Let me tell you something, though. Terry Jepson, that's Mike's mother. Terry Jepson is one of the nurses that I went to about the abuse, who I told about the abuse, who I tried to explain what was going on. And she never tried to help turn it in, never made any effort to do so. Meanwhile, her excuse was that other people had told her not to. A lot of people told their friends and family not to come forward and be honest. Dallas Richmond wouldn't hear any of the stuff that was going on with me or look at any of the evidence. He kept telling me he didn't care. And then he'd go off for hours about Harley and his bullshit. Or he'd come home and he'd chastise me about people at work giving him a rough time for helping me. But how was he helping me? You know, he quit his job for like 7 months. I was taking care of his ass. And so was his family. And I couldn't get anything done because his free ride was costing me so much. And Harley and her bullshit was costing me so much. And Robert Farnsworth and his bullshit were costing me so much. And I'd go to the people who claimed to be my friends and family. And although they wouldn't listen to my side, they would sure as shit come treat me like hell when somebody else in town was treating them like shit. You know, Sean, you should have done this and you should have done that. You know, Sean, people are hassling me at work. People at work said this and people at work said that. Really? Which ones? Don't stammer on your words, bitches. Who? Fucking speak up. The reason your name is up is because between turning it in the right way and playing fucking head games because you wanted to get free shit out of me, holy fuck, you guys used the shit out of me. Dallas Richmond spent all his money on fucking booze. And then he needed $400 for insurance, and I gave it to him. Then he needed $400 again for insurance because he wasted the first $400. My little sister did the same fucking thing, same amount, $400. $400, $400. She didn't spend it on insurance either. Dallas spent it on booze and supposedly stuff for his kids. I didn't see any of the stuff he bought for his kids. I only saw the booze and a lot of it. He was able to quit drinking for a whole fucking week. And I was like, well, if he can quit drinking for a whole fucking week, he's not an alcoholic. And I was so proud of that, I even spoke up on my YouTube channel about it. Next night, he's fucking sloshed. Meanwhile, he's not even legally supposed to be getting any drinking going on, because he's having to take domestic violence courses. Insanity. She beats on him and he's got to take domestic violence courses. That's fucking stupid. On the bright side, I've posted a lot of evidence on my Facebook because I can't post it on YouTube. I'd love to be able to just sit there and post up every single screenshot. Instead, I got to hold my camera from my phone, point it at my computer, which needs to be plugged in somewhere, and attached to internet, so that I can hook up to Messenger and scroll through it, and hopefully I've got good enough connection that you can actually read it. That's how I got to try to do it, because cops won't let me give the numbers in person. They go out of their way to try to make it unsafe, like that lady earlier from dispatch. I explained to her what's going on and about the safety issues for me. She could have, instead of talking over me and trying to blurt out my number like Leslie Snell did, and forcing me to literally yell over her inside of the fucking Starbucks and go outside with it. I was already going to go outside with it. She just needed to pause for a fucking second and be fucking patient. But that dispatch operator wanted to go out of her way to give my number out. No, not fucking okay. If you scam me, it's not against the rules for me to tell on you or to give out your number as a warning to others. Good intentions don't change the fact that it's a toxic fucking situation. Shannon Alvarado could have had the best intentions in the world, but her alcoholism and her fucking screaming all the goddamn time got in the way. And the more she screamed, the more scared I was. But I'm not allowed to be scared because I have a penis. I'm not allowed to tell on my predators because I have a penis. I can't possibly be a victim because I have a penis, because I'm white. What other excuse do you have for why police officers don't murder males more than anyone else? Or the homeless? Per capita, over 99.99% of those killed by police. If they had the same population size as black folks in America, which is about 60 million, the homeless would account for 99.99% of those killed by police. Based on the numbers from 2019, which are a lot nicer than the ones that we have now. In 2019, 49% of those killed by police were homeless. Last year, 60% of those killed by police were homeless. The numbers from 2019 show that 48,000 homeless people would be killed every year by police if they had a population size equal to that of black Americans. Specifically, black male Americans, if you want to get technical. But then we have to have the black population and just count the ones who are male. Because 96% of those killed by police are male, and that statistic is almost the same with homeless. Police are a lot more likely to kill a homeless woman than any other woman in America. Per capita, your chances of getting killed as a homeless woman are tremendous. Since over 50% of the women killed by police last year were homeless women, and that is not televised. We're in a horrible situation here. Not just for men, but also for women. And these cops aren't going to do their jobs for homeless people. And homeless people aren't going to stick up for each other. They're too cowardly. They're too afraid that the same things that everybody did to them before, that you're going to do it to them too. A lot of homeless people, they'll be your best friend until they realize that it's the first of the month. You got an $800 check. You put the money in your backpack and they asked you to watch their pack for 5 minutes while they go to the bathroom. Because if they don't, they're going to piss themselves. Can't go into any of the businesses with a large backpack. So you leave it there. You go to the bathroom, and what does your friend do? Fucking runs off with your money. Why? Because he's fucking homeless and he's desperate and it's 800 fucking bucks. That's a ticket to Atlanta, Georgia to see his fucking parents who don't want nothing to do with him because he's homeless. That's a ticket to his brother's wedding in Missouri. It's part of the money that he needs. Now he's finally got enough that he can get his own place. Or any number of other things. Then, of course, if he ends up homeless again and he ends up back in Boulder again and you see him again and you want to go hurt him again, what does he say? Oh, dude, I was in prison. I'm sorry, man. Fucking I got arrested and went to prison. And you're supposed to feel sorry for them, and magically it's not their fault anymore. Meanwhile, what they really did is took your $800 and steered you clear of the place until they thought that you'd have moved on. Would have been run off to go to fucking Seattle or Portland or any other number of places that they'll give you a bus ticket to. Now this Brian Fitzgerald feller, he's a rookie, and he's learning how from world-class pieces of shit. He's also a scrawny little... Does him being scrawny mean that he's not a good fighter? Nope. The way that he carries himself shows that he has to have backup, though. If he doesn't have backup, he'll do something really stupid and probably get himself killed. So he's got to be fucking babysat. Meanwhile, he's being babysat by a man who is allowing him and showing him examples of what not to do, what not to be as an officer. Intimidating your victims is not the job of a police officer. For those officers to not give me their information until today made it difficult for me to try to turn in who it was, because I had to find a place to look through my computer, look through my videos, look through my evidence, try to find his card. And obviously I still can't remember his name. Obviously I don't know for certain that that lady at the hospital from TFCC, I don't know for certain that her name was Teresa. I just think it was. I'm not for certain. But the fact that she was there, the fact that I was there over back problems, the fact that I was assaulted by a doctor in front of her who was aware that I have back problems, who knew that I had gone in over back problems, and also over abuse. And what did they do? They just wanted to try to push me to say that I was going to try to kill myself so that they could lock me up and inject me with Haldol for trying to tell on them. Well, fuck you, I ain't playing your goddamn game. I needed a friend or family member to fucking be there. The closest I had was Mike McKinster. He stopped the other night when I was honking my horn like an idiot, because with people like Mike McKinster not doing shit to actually help, I mean, what'd he do? He took me there. He understood, had been explained to, that it was unsafe for me to go there alone, and if he wasn't there, that they could pull some shady shit and get away with it. And then he abandoned me, and that's the first thing they did. Pull shady shit. The way that they treat people who are abused, who try to turn in their predators, is horrible. It's even worse when they allow those predators to push someone to the point that they want their life to end. But instead of trying to end their life, they try to explain that they are being harmed to that point. And instead of doing something about the harm, they lock us up on suicidal ideations. Who the fuck would want to live through this, huh, you pieces of shit? And fuck Brian Fitzgerald. I'm glad he gave me his badge number today. He should have done it yesterday. He should have not been a complete and total piece of shit. That was his choice. Have a nice fucking day, Tillamook.